The ground shook, the sky split open with fire, and for the first time in over half a century, 4 human beings were leaving Earth's neighborhood. Not just to orbit, not just to the space station, but to go out there, to the moon. The last time any human had traveled beyond Earth orbit was December 1972, Apollo 17. When those astronauts splashed down, nobody knew it would be 50 years before anyone tried again. But now, aboard a spacecraft named Integrity, Commander Reid Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialists Christina Koch and Jeremy Hansen were strapped in, hurtling through the dark at tens of thousands of miles per hour. The new age of exploration had begun. Day 5, falling toward the moon. Around midnight on April 6th, something shifted. Mission specialist Christina Koch got on the radio and said something that gave everyone chills. We are now falling to the moon rather than rising away from Earth. The moon's gravity had taken over. Orion had crossed the invisible line, the point in space where Earth's pole gives way to the moon's. From here, there was no turning back. The crew was committed. Back on Earth, in NASA's mission control in Houston, scientists were buzzing. They had handed the crew a list of 30 specific targets on the lunar surface to photograph and observe. Craters billions of years old, mysterious geological formations, places no human eye had ever seen up close. The clock was ticking. Day 6, the flyby begins. At 1:56 p.m. Eastern Time, Orion smashed a record that had stood for 56 years. The crew surpassed the distance record previously set by the Apollo 13 crew in 1970, 248,655 miles from Earth, reaching a maximum distance of 252,760 miles. 252,760 miles from Earth. 4 humans farther from home than any humans had ever been in history. And then the moon filled their windows. The lunar observation period began at 2:45 p.m. For 7 hours, the crew pressed their faces to the windows of Orion and stared at a world that looked nothing like what you see from your backyard. No smooth plains, no familiar dark patches. What they saw on the far side was raw, violent, ancient, a surface beaten into submission by billions of years of asteroid impacts, crater stacked on top of crater, with a crust 50 kilometers thicker than the near side we see from Earth. This was the moon's hidden face, and humans were seeing it directly for the first time ever. Into the silence. At 6:44 p.m., something eerie happened. All communication stopped. When Orion passed behind the moon, the mission entered a planned communications blackout lasting about 40 minutes as the lunar surface blocked the radio signals needed for the deep space network to maintain contact with the spacecraft. Mission control went quiet. No telemetry, no voice, nothing. 40 minutes of total silence. Inside Orion, the 4 astronauts were completely alone, more isolated than any humans alive. Behind the moon's far side, they witnessed something that no human had ever seen before. Earth set. The Earth, the entire Earth, with all its 8 billion people, all its history, all its wars and music and love stories, slowly sank below the lunar horizon and disappeared. Just 4 people, in a tin can, in the dark, behind the moon. Then, at 7:02 p.m., Orion made its closest approach, just 4,070 miles above the surface. In those moments, the crew was closer to the moon than any human since the Apollo era. Below them lay one of the most scientifically fascinating places in the solar system, and they were the first humans to ever observe it directly. Seconds later, Earthrise. The blue marble crept back over the lunar horizon, and mission control reacquired signal. Cheers erupted in Houston. What they saw, the moon's secret. This wasn't just a joyride. The crew was doing real science, observing things that have puzzled scientists for decades. The South Pole Aitken Basin, one of the largest impact craters in the entire solar system, 2,500 kilometers wide, carved out billions of years ago when something massive slammed into the moon. Deep beneath its floor lies a dense, mysterious mass that scientists can't fully explain. The best theory? It might be the metallic core of the asteroid that caused the impact, still buried down there for billions of years. The crew observed its edges and photographed it in detail never before possible from human eyes in space. Rena Gamma, the bright swirls. On the lunar surface lie strange, bright, swirling patterns that look like someone painted them there. They're not elevated, they're not craters. Scientists still don't fully understand what created them. Ancient magnetic fields? Solar wind? Something else entirely? The crew captured detailed images that scientists will study for years. Thermal hotspots. Certain regions on the far side show signs of ancient granite, which is deeply strange because granite on Earth usually requires plate tectonics and water to form. The moon has neither. Yet there it is, another mystery hiding in plain sight. Just when you thought the day couldn't get more extraordinary, it did. Starting at 8:35 p.m., the crew witnessed a solar eclipse from space as Orion, the moon, and the sun aligned. The astronauts saw the sun disappear behind the moon for nearly an hour. Imagine watching a total solar eclipse, but instead of standing in a field on Earth, you're in orbit, watching the sun vanish behind the moon while floating in a spacecraft. The solar corona, the sun's outer atmosphere, a glowing halo of plasma, blazed around the dark lunar edge. The crew used the opportunity to study the corona and also watched for flashes on the lunar surface, tiny pinpricks of light from meteoroids striking the moon in real time. It was, by any measure, one of the most spectacular things human eyes have ever witnessed. The science you can't see. Beyond the cameras and the window observations, something quieter was happening aboard Orion. Blood samples, saliva, cell cultures. The crew was living inside a science experiment. Scientists on the ground were using data from the crew to study how deep space radiation affects human cells, critical research for any future mission to Mars, where astronauts would spend months beyond the protection of Earth's magnetic field. The radiation environment out there is brutal, and we need to understand it before we send people further. Every hour the crew spent beyond Earth orbit was data. Data that could, one day, save lives on a Mars mission. Here's something most people don't know. Because the moon's far side permanently faces away from Earth, it is naturally shielded from all the radio noise our civilization produces, every Wi-Fi signal, every broadcast, every phone call. It's the quietest radio environment in the entire inner solar system. Scientists want to put radio telescopes there, pointed at the early universe, listening for signals from the first stars that ever formed, signals too faint to detect anywhere near Earth. The far side of the moon could be humanity's greatest observatory. The Artemis II crew's observations are helping scientists plan exactly where and how to build it. On Flight Day 10, Splashdown occurred April 11, 2026, off the coast of San Diego. Navy divers pulled the crew out of the Pacific Ocean, and the world exhaled. Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen, 4 names that will be in history books forever. They didn't land on the moon. That comes next, Artemis II. But what they did was no less important. They proved the system works. They proved humans can go out there again. They brought back thousands of images, hours of observations, and blood samples full of data. And they reminded the world of something we had almost forgotten. The moon is not a dead rock. It is a complex, dynamic, mysterious world, with secrets still buried in its ancient craters, still swirling in its unexplained patterns, still glowing in its deep thermal hotspots. We've barely scratched the surface. And for the first time in 50 years, humans are scratching again. We are now falling to the moon rather than rising away from Earth. Christina Koch, April 6, 2026. The age of deep space exploration has returned, and it's just getting started.